Hey guys, it's Tony with Backwoods Biker Magazine and Wood Tramp Outdoors. We've just come out of 2021, going into 2022. A lot of emails are asking us, what about the knife of the year for 2021? Well, hang tight. We're going to show you the 3 nominees for knife of the year. Hang tight. Sure. No. All right, guys, welcome back. As I said, a lot of people are asking us about the knife of the year for 2021. We've got 3 nominees. Now, the difference between all the prior years that we've done is we usually have 5 to 6 nominees for that. And this year we just decided to cut it down to 3, only because you've seen the reviews on the knives. We feel like we got 3 very, very good top candidates for the knife of the year, and they were not so close. 2 of them were real close, but then there was one that just pulled out ahead of everybody else. So we're just going to talk real briefly about the nominees, who they're from, and just a little bit about the knives, and then we'll save the other for later. And all these knives have already received a review that you can watch on the channel. Just do the search. But first one that I want to show you comes from SE, and this happens to be the SE3, and this is the S35VN model, I believe. Yeah, S35VN, and we got this. This was nominated. Actually, it was suggested to us by the Air Wing, the 182nd Air Wing. Several pilots love this knife, and I happened to be having a couple cocktails with the guys, and 3 of them out of the 5 that I was with had one of these hanging on their side, and I looked at that knife. I said, you know what, man, that is a great knife, especially for a pilot or someone that's going to be in a survival situation. This knife would work well. Everybody thinks you need a knife that's like a machete, and you don't. You need it to do specific tasks. And we found this knife, its build, its quality, its design, very, very good. So, and it received some of the top marks out of all the knives that we've seen in 2021. So that's one nominee. Okay. Second nominee comes from a very small company out in California. It's called Anza Knives, and the owner of Anza Knives is a legend in the knife making world. His name is Charlie Davis. Charlie Davis worked for one of the largest knife companies in the world, and if I told you who it was, it'd blow your mind. Especially when you consider that he left them to start his own company, and as you can see, these are dope knives. This happens to be one of the smaller knives. It's about a little over 3-inch blade, maybe 3 1/4, with a 4-inch back end on it, the handle on it. So together it's about a 7-inch knife, 7 1/4, something like that. But it's made out of a file. He is the master. He's the best that we've ever seen, and I'm not kidding you. Re-annealing the files and turning them into a piece of cutlery that is second to none. And I am not kidding you. These are not only beautiful, but they are functional. And I got to tell you, the price on these knives are awesome. Go to anzaknives.com and just check them out. They are super duper. And this one impressed us. If you are an outdoorsman of any sort, if you skin game, if you are a bushcrafter looking to do some finesse work, this knife is an all-around knife that you could carry with you and be happy. So I think it's called the Bukat, but man, it's just beautiful. It's handy. It's really nice. Their sheaths are top-notch, all handmade, and I think he has a crew of either 5 or 6. So it's not a great big company, but a beautiful knife. All right. And then the last one that received the nomination came from Ultimate Survival Tips, and it is the Msk1 Elite Warrior. And in 2021, Msk1 released 3 knives. The first one was called the Primitive, and it is made offshore, and it looks exactly like this knife without the serrations and without the top leading edge. It looks like the original Msk1, except it's made from a different steel. I think it's 1075, maybe 1095, I don't remember right now, but I think it's 1075. And the reason he released that knife is because everybody was saying, hey, look, I don't want to spend that kind of money for that Msk1. So he came up with a cheaper version, but he had to make it offshore. But it doesn't mean that it's cheap itself, because it came from Msk1, and they have really done a great job down there in Condor. They're making that knife for him, the Primitive. And then he also had one that was called the Elite, Msk1 Elite, and it's made by Tops Knives right here in the U.S. So the price is going to be a little bit more, but the functionality of it is better than the original because the steel has been upgraded. Original was D2, and this is S35VN, I believe. Yeah, no, it's 154 CM. The other one was S35. Sorry. Yeah, this is 154 CM, which is a very, very high quality steel. All the features that you found in the original Msk1 is here from point to tip, except with the Elite, notwithstanding the steel that's used itself, the bones of the knife, but you've got this top leading edge, and then you have this dope serration. Now, you know that I tell you that I don't like serrated knives because you're wasting good resource by putting that serration in there, because most of the serrations do not do the job. I can tell you right now, this will saw through wood and it will saw through bone. I've done both. This is a handy dandy knife. It is more on the tactical side, but you know, I'm not doing anything tactical these days, so I take it out in the bush and I do everything that I need to do. It's great for chopping. It's not an axe, but whenever you grab this small hook end here and you put it in the palm of your hand, you can get some really good energy releasing and get good force, and you can chop with this. You know, it's not an axe, so I'm not going to tell you it chops like an axe. It does not chop like an axe. It's not an axe, it's a knife, but it's the best chopping knife that we've seen in a long time. And again, the serrations, you know, so if you're into bushcrafting and you want to make, you know, a shelter, if you are laying traps out, even man traps, you know, a sniper lays, whatever you're doing. This is a great knife for the bush and a great, even greater tactical knife. As a matter of fact, the way this got on our radar is that we had some of our subscribers out at 29 Palms with the Force Recon unit out there, hoorah. They wrote me and said, hey, have you seen the new Msk1? So I called up David and said, David, what are you hiding on me, man? Next thing you know, this is sitting on my desk, and I'm like, holy mackerel, man, this thing looks good. Can't wait to get it out and see what it'll do. Well, it performs outstanding, and that's why it received a nomination. Some of the upgrades on this is not only the steel, but also the survival kit on the inside of this handle has been upgraded with different ones. The first survival kit that we received in our first Msk1, I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. You had to really work to make the stuff work, and sometimes it didn't work. Everything that he's done in here, he has rethought the process. David is a thinker, and he's also very prideful in what he does, you know. So that is the Msk1 Elite Warrior from Ultimate Survival Tips. That's the big guy, and then it comes with a Kydex sheath, which is really nice. And you know, my preference is that if I'm going to carry this knife, I want it to be a kit knife, all right? Which means I'm going to have my secondary knife on here also, which is the Msk1 Mini. You know, if you're going to spring for this guy, you may as well get this guy with it, and it'll attach right to the main sheath. And then also, I put the ferro rod on here, Msk1 ferro rod. So I've always got a ferro rod with me no matter what. I've got a redundancy of those. Now, I will tell you, the weight of this knife prevents me from putting it on my side. Some guys do love it there. Guys that took this out for us, some of them had it on the side, had one person have it a scout carry, but for me, This knife will go on my pack. That's where I've been carrying this. When I'm out, I got a tactical pack. That's where this is at, is right here. And it's easily deployed. To pull it out and to put it back away is just as easy, and it's never fallen out. You know, great sheath, great knife, and the MSK Mini isn't part of the review, but I just wanted to show you how we had it. So there's your 3 nominees for Knife of the Year. All of them. Any of these could have won. And the next video you'll see which one of these came out on top. Thanks for watching. I hope that it interests you. Be looking for that next video on these knives, and you'll see the 2021 Backwoods Biker Knife of the Year. Till then, you guys hang tough. You ride free, you live free, and always be safe out there. And don't forget to subscribe, because when you do, you become a subscriber. We put your name in our monthly database, because we take that name and we will pull it out and give you some free gear. All right, we'll see you.